All right, everyone, welcome back. We're diving into a topic today that's pretty close to home, literally.
Yeah, we're talking roads.
Specifically, how to wrangle those traffic management plans. TMPs.
Yeah.
Every local government officer's favorite, right?
Well, they might not be at the top of everyone's lists, but they are vital. Absolutely essential when it comes to keeping our roads safe and efficient.
Especially when there are roadworks or any kind of temporary disruption. And as the local government officers responsible for authorizing these TMPs, you guys play a crucial role.
You're the ones making sure those plans meet all the safety and operational standards before a single cone gets placed. So, yeah, big responsibility.
Definitely a big responsibility. So we're here to help you make sense of it all, break down the complexities, and highlight what you really need to focus on when you've got that stack of TMPs staring you down.
And our guide for this deep dive, the Australian Guidelines for Temporary Traffic Management. The AGTTM, it's the Bible, the go-to source.
It's a pretty dense document though, right?
Yeah. Oh, it is. Hundreds of pages. But don't worry, we've distilled it down to the essentials. We're pulling out the key insights, especially the ones that are most relevant to local government roads, because we know your job is unique.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly does it mean to be the one authorizing a TMP? What does that role actually entail?
Well, the AGTTM uses the rather grand title of Road Infrastructure Manager. Sounds important, right?
It does.
But really, it just means you're the person responsible for saying yes or no to these plans. You're making sure they're up to scratch, ensuring the safety and smooth operation of your roads.
So it's about keeping the traffic flowing, keeping people safe.
Exactly. And it's a shared responsibility. You're working with the TMP designers, the checkers, the roadworks traffic managers. Everyone has a part to play.
Kind of like an orchestra.
Yes. You're the conductor. You're making sure all the parts work together harmoniously. You set the tempo, maintain the rhythm, ensure everyone's on the same page.
But I don't have to know how to play every instrument.
Exactly. You don't need to be a TMP design whiz to authorize a plan. You're focused on the big picture, the overall safety and efficiency of the plan, not necessarily the nitty-gritty details of every single sign and cone placement.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, how do we actually assess that big picture? What are the key things a local government officer should be looking for when reviewing a TMP? Where do we even start?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to remember that your signature on that TMP is more than just a formality. It's about taking responsibility.
Right.
You're the one saying, yes, this plan will keep people safe. Yes, it will minimize disruption. You have a duty of care to everyone who uses your roads.
That's a lot of weight on one signature.
It is. So to make that decision, to know whether you can confidently sign that TMP, you need to focus on a few key areas. The AGTTM outlines 4, actually. Suitability, speed zones, efficiency, and what they call aftercare and staging.
Okay, let's break those down one by one, starting with suitability. What exactly does that encompass?
Suitability is all about making sure the TMP considers everyone, not just drivers.
Right, so not just thinking about cars.
Exactly. You need to consider pedestrians, cyclists, people using mobility scooters, people pushing prams, anyone who might be impacted by the roadworks.
The vulnerable road users, the ones who aren't protected by a ton of metal.
Precisely. The TMP needs to ensure their safety. Clear pedestrian detours, safe crossing points, all of that.
Makes sense. What about speed zones? What should we be looking at there?
So with speed zones, the key is appropriateness. Does the proposed speed limit make sense given the type of work being done, the road layout, the traffic volume?
It's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Right.
Too fast, and it's dangerous. Too slow, and you're creating unnecessary congestion.
You got it. It's about balance.
Okay. And then we've got efficiency.
Yeah.
What does that look like in a TMP?
Efficiency is all about minimizing disruption, keeping traffic flowing as smoothly as possible despite the roadworks. So you're looking for clear signage, logical diversions, well-planned alternative routes. You know, think about it from a driver's perspective.
Yeah, if I was driving through this, would I know where I'm going? Would it be a nightmare of confusion and delays?
Exactly. If the TMP is well designed, it should guide drivers through the work zone seamlessly. No head scratching, no wrong turns, no unnecessary frustration.
And no U-turns on a busy road. Been there, done that. Not fun.
No, definitely not. Okay, and then the final area, which often gets overlooked but is so important, aftercare and staging.
What do you mean by that?
So it's about thinking beyond the immediate impact of the roadworks. What happens after the work is done? How will the road be restored? Are there plans for repaving, restriping, fixing any damage? And then there's the staging aspect.
Right, so looking at the different phases of the project.
Exactly. How will traffic be managed throughout the entire duration of the works? Does the TMP account for the different stages, the change in traffic patterns? It's about minimizing disruption over the long haul.
Okay, I'm getting a much clearer picture of what to look for. But now I'm wondering, does it change at all? Because we're talking specifically about local government roads.
Ah, yes. Great question. And the answer is yes, sometimes. In most cases, you as the local government officer have the authority to review and authorize TMPs on your roads. But there are a couple of exceptions.
Exceptions.
Yeah. Firstly, if the TMP involves changes to permanent traffic signals on a local government road, that actually falls under main roads jurisdiction.
Interesting. So even though it's our road, they handle the traffic signals.
That's right. And secondly, even if you're only dealing with local government roads, if the work might impact nearby main roads, then you'll need to get them involved. Collaborate, make sure everyone's on the same page.
So it's like a Venn diagram. Sometimes our roads overlap, and we need to work together.
Exactly. Think of a roadwork project on a local road that's right next to a main road on-ramp.
I see what you mean.
If you don't coordinate the TMP carefully, you could end up with traffic backing up onto the main road, causing massive delays, safety hazards, a real mess.
Makes sense. Collaboration is key. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the role of the local government officer, the key areas to focus on when reviewing a TMP. But is there anything in the AGTTM that can actually help make this process a bit easier? Like, are there any specific tools or resources we should be aware of?
Absolutely. There's this fantastic tool tucked away in the AGTTM called the suitability checklist.
A checklist?
Yep. Basically, it gives you a structured framework for going through the TMP and asking all the right questions. So you're not just staring at this document thinking, where do I even begin?
Right, because it can be pretty overwhelming.
It can. But with the checklist, you can systematically work your way through each section, ensuring you've considered all the important factors, like when you're looking at pedestrian safety, for example.
Okay, so how would the checklist help with that?
Well, it might prompt you to check whether the TMP clearly designates safe walking paths around the worksite, or if it considers adequate lighting for nighttime works, or if it ensures accessibility for people with disabilities. It just helps you tick all the boxes, make sure nothing's been missed.
So it's not just a rubber stamp. It's a guide to help make those tough decisions, a tool to ensure you're considering everything.
Exactly. And it's all in the AGTTM. Easy to access, easy to use.
Fantastic. Well, this has been incredibly insightful. I think we've covered a lot of valuable information for our local government officers out there.
I hope so. And remember, you guys are doing really important work. You're the ones who make our roads safer, more efficient.
Your decisions, your signatures on those TMPs, they have a direct impact on people's lives.
Absolutely. Every signature contributes to smoother journeys, safer streets, a better quality of life for everyone in your community.
So to all our local government heroes out there, keep up the great work. Dive into that suitability checklist, explore those AGTTM resources, and keep those TMPs flowing smoothly and safely.
And remember, if you're ever in doubt, don't hesitate to reach out to main roads or your peers for guidance.
Exactly. We're all in this together. Keeping our roads safe and efficient is a team effort.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
See you then.